Hi, everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar, Advocate Loyalty with Social Annex and LYONSCG. My name is Eliza Fisher, and I'm Social Annex's marketing strategist and editor. I'm in charge of our blog, email marketing, and webinars.
And thank you, Eliza. I'm Steve Cecina. I'm a marketing director here at Lyons Consulting Group. I lead our company's marketing efforts, including our corporate brand, our thought leadership, our demand generation efforts, and great to be co-presenting here with Eliza today. Before we get started with the presentation, a few quick notes on the logistics for today's call. You should be getting, and the first question everyone always asks is, yes, are we recording the webinar? And the answer is yes, yes we are. And you'll get an email in your inbox tomorrow with the link to the recording of today's webinar. If you have any problems with the webinar today, any problems hearing us, please go ahead in the chat window and send us a message. You should find that little orange arrow in the upper right-hand corner. And we invite you to ask questions anytime by clicking that chat button, typing in the questions. We'll gather those up and address them during the Q&A portion of the call at the end of today's session. So to go over the agenda quickly, first we're going to start out with a little bit about each of us. I'll give a LYONSCG and Eliza will give the Social Annex overview. We'll talk about what advocate marketing really is, and then we'll dive into 10 ways of cultivating advocacy and discuss how to manage advocacy with loyalty. And again, at the end, we'll take your questions. So please go ahead and type those in the chat box as they come to you during the call. So I'll go ahead and share a little bit about Lyons Consulting Group first. We are an e-commerce digital agency and a partner of Social Annex. We work on a holistic approach to e-commerce, and this is a build here. So if we step through each of the approaches as we work through customers, and Eliza, you can step through. I think there's a build of 6 of these cards that will appear. But we start out in a holistic approach, which means that through your e-commerce life cycle, you will go through a digital market or digital strategy, assessing your business. You'll then design your site, implement the e-commerce platform. Once it's up and running, we have hosting services, support services, marketing services. That breadth is surrounded by a client services approach, which means that we're trying to match our services against your needs at any given point of that e-commerce life cycle. We take a one-team approach with our experts from each of these 6 practice areas with your e-commerce business to help you through the elements that you'll go through in that life cycle, from strategizing to designing to building and then managing your site. And of course, today's call, if we go to the next slide, is going to focus on our digital marketing and digital strategy efforts. One of the big challenges as we start to see emerging in e-commerce as we evolve is the ability to connect with customers on something more than just a transactional basis, to be able to look at the social and content connection to create not only the basic social media and social marketing constructs, but to leverage that through strategic foundations, a managed marketing program, various insights and optimizations through the analytics that we provide, and a management of your overall search and media group. That brings us to an approach where we look at the way that we manage the business. And the next slide, please. A business that really sets us apart from that holistic approach to the business. The second point there, meaning that we have a team that is looking across that life cycle, implementing the platform and demandware, for instance, with the marketing services that you'll need to bring traffic to the site to improve and optimize the conversion rate and to provide better customer service and enhance that relationship with your customers The other element I'll call out here is our one-team culture, which is really a sense that as we work on projects, whether it's with a single partner or whether we're integrating multiple approaches, we look at a project in terms of being able to deliver that innovative and revenue-driving solution as one team, that our goal is your goal. We work both internally to achieve that, and we participate and collaborate with our clients to accomplish that. As a professional services firm, we of course offer the support. We have strong processes, a lot of experience and expertise. But I think what really is, for today's purpose, is paramount, is that one-team approach and a holistic view of your business. That's a little bit about us. I'll turn it back to Eliza. She'll talk about Social Annex, and then we'll get into the heart of the webinar.
Thank you, Steve. So Social Annex offers a full platform of advocate marketing and customer loyalty solutions, which turn browsers into buyers, buyers into loyal customers, and loyal customers into advocates, who then bring more interested shoppers back to you. We offer login services, customer loyalty, sharing and referrals, user-generated content, visual commerce, and contests. Our solutions increase revenue by an average of 5 to 10%. They boost purchase frequency by 5 to 20%, increase average order value for loyalty members by 5 to 20%, multiply social activity by 10, and lift conversion rates by 20%. In terms of our offerings with Lions Consulting Group, all of our solutions come with pre-built integrations for Demandware, Magento, and Hybris. Both of our companies place an emphasis on client support, as Steve noted, and offer thoroughly customized solutions. We both have teams full of e-commerce experts who are always here to help you. And our holistic approach means that we have solutions for every step of the customer journey. Our unified strategies and unified platform lead to unified data and unified experiences. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about advocates. Who are they? Advocates, in essence, are volunteer marketers. They promote your business. They're customers who will act to promote, protect, and help your brand. They connect on social, refer friends, join communities, answer others' product questions, write reviews, answer surveys, share photos, and so on. And advocacy encompasses the whole customer journey. The programs you have and the actions your company takes at every step in the buyer's journey influence whether or not a shopper becomes an advocate. The actions of existing advocates affect shoppers at every point in the journey too. Advocacy isn't about just one action, like writing reviews. It's about having multiple ways to connect and communicate and not being in a silo. It's a full customer journey. And advocate marketing works. 92% of customers trust brand advocates. Word of mouth is behind 20 to 50% of all purchasing decisions. Offers shared by advocates convert at a 4 to 10 times higher rate than those shared by companies. A report came out last month from Collective Bias and Business Insider that noted that 60% of U.S. shoppers look at blogs and social media while shopping in stores. These are hugely important channels for your advocates. When customers are in stores looking at social media and they see their peers talking about a certain product or company, it can be hugely influential. And people actually want to be advocates. No one's tricking or bribing anyone. We just want to incentivize them even more and make the process of advocacy easier. 25% of people choose to engage with the company because they want to join its community of fans. 73% of millennials feel it's their responsibility to help friends and family make smart purchase decisions. And advocates largely recommend businesses because of good experiences. 50% of them do so. While 37% do so out of a desire to help others, and only 1% do so just to receive freebies. So that said, how do you turn your shoppers into advocates? So we have 10 ways that we're going to go through now. Our first point is about customer centricity. 70% of buying experiences are based on how the customer feels they're being treated. It takes 12 positive experiences to make up for one unresolved negative experience. Consequently, you need to cultivate a customer-centric experience. Trader Joe's, for example, is renowned for its customer service. The 2015 Temkin Customer Experience Survey ranked it 4th for best customer experience in retail, and it's been consistently top-ranked by many other surveys. And these rankings are accurate. People respond incredibly positively to Trader Joe's customer service. And when they have these outstanding experiences, they talk about them. It's crucial to regularly ask for customer feedback, too. For every customer who bothers to complain, 26 other customers remain silent. One of the ways you can do this is do it systematically, is by launching a ratings and reviews platform and soliciting contributions from your customers. When you have a good ratings and reviews solution, you can see all the feedback in one place, so you don't have to go out of your way to know what your customers are thinking. If you link it with a loyalty solution, you can reward rightfully dissatisfied customers with points from the very same dashboard. If you resolve a complaint in the customer's favor, they'll do business with you again 70% of the time. VIP treatments and exclusivity also, of course, make customers feel valued. There are some companies that are going really above and beyond that we should take note of. Delta, for example, announced last July that they'd be identifying customers who log more than 100,000 miles a year and offering them private jet flights for $300 to $800, which is a huge discount. Meanwhile, Zappos is really renowned for its customer service. Surprise and delight is an old tactic, but it's even more effective than it used to be thanks to social media. There are many minor ways to surprise and delight customers. You can randomly offer them free shipping, extra loyalty points, and so on, or even a handwritten thank you note. It often pays to do something bigger, though. There's a story about a woman who arrived in Las Vegas, which is the home of Zappos, on a trip, and she found she had forgotten her favorite shoes. She tried ordering them from Zappos, but found that they were unavailable. After calling customer service to try to find a solution, she was pleased to find that a Zappos employee had actually gone to a rival shoe store, purchased the shoes for her, and delivered them to her hotel at no charge. Now that's memorable. One more really simple way of treating customers like they're royalty is the birthday email, which is widely used, but for good reason. These numbers are just absurd, basically. Birthday emails have a 179% higher click-through rate and a 342% higher revenue per email compared to traditional promotional emails. Another point is to personalize everything, but with the specific aim of doing your customers a favor. Businesses that personalize web experiences see an average of 19% increase in sales. That's because customers appreciate being catered to and will listen to a company's communications if they find that they're relevant. However, right now, only about 7% of consumers report that the offers they receive from companies are regularly or always relevant. Browsing and buying data provides excellent insight into what customers might want. But we can go even further with personalization by leveraging social, demographic, and even climate data. And while you can use this information to sell, and you should be, it's more important to use it to be helpful to your customers. One example of an easy personalization is a recommendation engine. A straightforward product recommendation section on a website is pretty common nowadays, but it's worth thinking outside the box to give your customers an extra benefit. Spotify does this by including song recommendations for all subscribers. E-commerce companies could do similar things by suggesting care tips for their products, style pointers, free music downloads, and so much more to their customers. One way to combine helpful information with personalization to directly increase sales is to notify customers when products they've left in their shopping carts go on sale. You can do this via retargeting or via email. Our next point is to create a streamlined referral program. Your existing customers' networks are filled with a ton of potential shoppers that are not only more likely to convert into paying customers, but also have a better chance of becoming advocates. Customers referred by other customers have a 37% higher retention rate and are 18% more loyal than customers acquired by other means. Naturally then, referral programs can be easy wins. Create a streamlined program like ClassPass, who has a section in their app labeled just Get $20. When existing customers tap on it, they can easily share referral links via email, text, and more. And you should make sure that if you're doing referrals, that they're easily accessible by not just the mobile app, but desktop, your mobile site, and even in-store. You should make them available to all so your customers or prospective customers don't have to create an account before sending a referral. Our fifth point, you've probably figured this out by now, but people don't always want to be blatantly advertised to. When you create content that entertains or educates your audience, they grow to trust you and think fondly of your business. Reformation is an environmentally conscious clothing company with a huge social presence. Part of the reason for that is that Reformation's marketing team tries to educate their audience about sustainability, not just in fashion, but in other realms too. They put educational material on their website, on social media, and even on their packaging and clothing tags. And Reformation's audience really appreciates these tips, and you'll see a lot on social media of customers reposting this type of environmental information. Another way to educate your audience is to let your customers educate other shoppers. The questions and answers platform allows you to systematize this, and you can power your content marketing efforts with it. Skis.com, one of our clients, has a questions and answers platform that their customers really love. It's all about passionate athletes educating other passionate athletes. Communicating transparently with your customers doesn't just keep them satisfied. It allows you to share all the effort that happens behind the scenes. This applies to something as simple as what Domino's Pizza does by letting their customers be aware of every step of the pizza making process up through the time of delivery. The pizza tracker manages expectations and entertains shoppers quite a bit. It's gained tons of recognition and is a source of humor as well as information. You're more likely to win advocates, though, with a truly deep commitment to transparency. Everlane is a company that's doing wonders with this. They give their customers detailed information about their supply chains, pricing models, transportation costs, and so on. And shoppers love this because they feel that they're getting a fair deal from a company that really respects them. Another way to get customers to engage is by showing off your team. ASOS does this very well by highlighting their stylists on their website and on social. All their stylists have their own social accounts in which they post their outfits and pictures of their lives, with a ton of ASOS product mentions. By leveraging employee advocates, like this one who has 114,000 Instagram followers, ASOS primes their audience to become advocates themselves. And if you see in the comments on this picture, for example, tons of users are commenting, asking about the product code for the jacket, and so on, which is an issue that could be easily solved if they made their Instagram shoppable. Starbucks celebrated its employees last year by launching a white cup contest, in which associates were asked to submit their designs for decorating a plain white Starbucks cup. This kind of initiative shows off the other skills that Starbucks workers have and lets them know that the company appreciates them. Our eighth point is to work for a cause. 66% of people are willing to pay more for products and services that come from companies who are committed to positive social and environmental impact. There are changes that all companies can make to have a significant charitable effect. Ben & Jerry's ice cream, for example, committed to making their products with fair trade ingredients. Its customers are incredibly enthusiastic about the switch, And Ben & Jerry's has undoubtedly earned new shoppers by taking this initiative. But you don't need to change something as large as your supply chain to help out. AT&T, for example, recently created a campaign with an emotional video that focused on how texting while driving can forever change the life of the driver and others. The "It Can Wait, the Power of a Moment" campaign had such great repercussions that it gained the support of more than 1,500 other organizations, including names like Walt Disney and Goodyear. "It Can Wait" has become a recognizable slogan in its own right, with people using it organically. The campaign has gathered over 8 million pledges from customers and even just other people on the internet to not text and drive, and it's growing all the time. Our ninth point is to create a sense of community and collaboration. Business-consumer collaborations create a sense of community that everyone appreciates. For the past 3 years, Lay's Potato Chips has been doing a contest called Do Us a Flavor, in which customers come up with their ideal combination for the next flavor of Lay's. Once thousands of flavors are submitted, Lay's chooses the 3 finalists and allows the public to vote on the best one. The winner gets $1 million. The campaign generates tons of word-of-mouth marketing every year. More importantly, when customers play an important role in the marketing and development of a new product, they feel like they're part of a valued community. Even if you don't host a creative competition like Lay's, you can still have customers collaborate on content marketing with you by asking them to share their photos of products with a specific hashtag. If you use a visual commerce solution, you can celebrate your customers' creativity with your products in a really streamlined and systematic way. And our 10th way of cultivating advocacy is to make the customer experience as easy as possible on every level. I know that's a broad statement, but here are a few examples. The British retailer John Lewis makes finding one of its brick-and-mortar locations incredibly simple by putting the information in a drop-down that's accessible from the navigation bar on the home page of their website. As soon as users get to their mobile site, they can find a store. Then John Lewis offers multiple ways to narrow down the search results. There are multiple reasons why logging in and creating an account should be made even simpler on mobile. 53% of all U.S. retail mobile revenue comes from guest users, while 50% of all cart abandonment happens during checkout. It takes more time to enter information on phones, and customers are often in a hurry. But if you're not capturing their information, you obviously can't market to them as easily to get them to come back and buy again. So the retailer on the left has customers go to a sidebar menu, select Sign In, and then enter information in 7 different fields to create an account. In contrast, the business on the right enables sign-ins and logins right from the top menu bar and gives customers the options of creating accounts and signing in with Facebook, Google, or Amazon. This is a much speedier way of moving visitors from guests to registered customers. Boards, wish list, and saved items are a fairly common practice nowadays, but they're worth mentioning. You should let your customers save items. It's a straightforward solution that most site visitors find to be very convenient. If you have an especially large inventory, you may want to consider enabling Pinterest-like boards so customers can sort their saved items into different groups. You can also add a community aspect to this and enable social sharing on the boards. Whichever channel customers are on, they should be able to immediately see your images and then buy through them. When your audience is on Instagram, you can monetize that channel through Shopit. When a user is scrolling through his or her Instagram feed, they'll see an image with some item that they like. The user can just go to the business's profile and then tap the link in their bio. That will take them to a gallery of the business's Instagram images, which they can then tap to get more product details. And finally, of course, arrive on their site to buy. For businesses, this is as simple as pasting a link in your Instagram bio. You just upload a photo to Instagram as you normally would, whether it's a catalog photo, branded photo shoot, customer picture, or anything else. Then you just have to log into your dashboard and associate your images, and that's it. They're up on a shoppable mobile gallery without any implementation on your end. Social media teams then get the proper credit for delivering shoppers to the site, and your business still has total control over the customer experience. And our final point today, and a topic unto itself, is to tie advocacy to loyalty. You should reward customers for taking advocate marketing actions. In terms of actions taken on your site, consider rewarding account creations, email list signups, review writing, question answering, and so on. Chaparral Motorsports, for example, rewards customers for writing reviews and even for asking questions. Meanwhile, Hue gives customers points for joining its loyalty program in addition to purchasing and taking other actions. In terms of social media, you should incentivize connecting, sharing images, sharing videos and links and content, using specific hashtags, and referring friends. Bebe, a Social Annex client, incentivizes a ton of social actions, most notably hashtagging photos on Instagram. Of course, this prompts customers to share more than they often might, and to get tons of great content for their visual commerce platform. Meanwhile, Murad, a skincare line, gives customers points for sharing product links on social, and additional points if that share leads a friend to purchase. In terms of incentivized actions in-store, you should consider rewarding checking in at stores on social, posting photos from the store with a special hashtag, participation in experiential marketing in-store events like photo booths, parties, and so on. Spa Week gives customers points for checking into spas on Foursquare. Olympus Camera, meanwhile, has an app that links its own e-commerce experience to the brick-and-mortar stores of its retailers. Retail stores like Best Buy that sell Olympus products have their associates download this app. When a customer with an Olympus loyalty account wants to purchase an Olympus product at one of these stores, employees can scan a code that enables shoppers to use and accrue Olympus points. It's a great way of creating a more holistic experience across channels, and even channels that Olympus doesn't control. Dr. Brandt Skincare is a great example of an integrated advocate loyalty program. Members earn points for creating accounts, making their first purchase, subscribing to the newsletter, reviewing products, buying featured products, connecting and sharing on social, and referring friends. As a result of this program, Dr. Brandt's average order value has gone up by 10%. There's a 23.5% conversion rate among users who interact with questions and answers, and half of their loyalty members redeemed their points within the last 2 months. As for other advocate loyalty programs, a novelty brand is seeing an ROI well above 35-to-1. A jewelry client of ours has obtained a 10% increase in their repeat purchase rate, and a cookware client of ours has a 67% conversion rate for refer a friend. An electronics client has had over 90,000 signups for its loyalty program in fewer than 6 months, with an ROI well above 20-to-1. We've also had a few clients that have started out with a traditional points for purchase program and then added in advocate marketing tactics. This change has accounted for loyalty program revenue increases between 300 and 370% in less than a year, and membership increases of 11 to 88% in the same time frame. In terms of the business impact of other solutions, visual commerce usually raises conversion rate by 5 to 7%, while visual commerce, ratings and reviews, and questions and answers altogether raise revenue by 18% on average. Social login almost always has an ROI above 40-to-1. For sharing and referrals, referrers have a 10 to 46% conversion rate, while referred friends have a 4 to 40% conversion rate. While these are large variations, which depend heavily on the target market, promotions, and products being sold, these conversion rates are much higher than they are for users who don't interact with these solutions. And with that said, we're going to go back to Steve and some questions. I can also get started on them. So our first question here.
I'm sorry, I had myself on mute. I had a whole statement that I made and didn't hear it. Yeah. So I was just adding the comment that if there are any questions out there, before we get started with the handful that we have here already, there's a question or a chat box over on that right-hand side. So please feel free to post your questions and we'll address those. But the first one that we have here is that you mentioned that user-generated content several times during the course of the presentation. Do you have some best practices for marketing with content that shoppers would create themselves?
Yeah, so the first point that I always make about user-generated content is getting the right permissions. So we always recommend that, especially for photos shared on platforms like Instagram, we want our clients to obtain explicit permissions, which is outright asking the customer in question if you can reuse their photo. And you can automate these requests through your visual commerce dashboard. If you have explicit permissions for a photo, you can reuse it in pretty much any context. You can send it in your marketing emails, use it for ads, and so on. Whereas if you just use implicit permissions, which is the assumption that if a customer uses your hashtag that they are consenting to your use of the photo, the only legal way to use those photos is to let them live as links out to Instagram on your site. And so that means that if a shopper takes down a photo for any reason, you'll just have a gray square where the photo was on your site, and you can't reuse the photo in any of your other marketing efforts.
All right, great. We've got a few more questions that have come in here. I'll get to the next one, which is more of a definitional question. A question from Catherine asks, what's the main difference between loyalty and advocate loyalty programs?
So the main difference is that a traditional loyalty program only rewards shoppers for transactions. This is it's a very dated way of approaching loyalty, and it really sends the message, in my mind at least, to customers that they're only worth so much as they're spending right now. Whereas advocate loyalty involves incorporating these other tactics that we've talked about, whether they're referrals or contributing content or connecting on social or whatever else. And so you reward customers for taking those actions in order to invite them into your brand's community and signal to them that they're valuable, not just as straightforward customers and wallets, so to speak, but also as the real identity and foundation of your company.
Okay, and the next question, are you able to integrate with any POS systems for in-store interactions?
Yeah, we integrate with most major POS systems, NetSuite being the most common one.
All right, great. And I'll just ask our audience, if you do have additional questions, keep those coming. We've got a couple more here that we'll get to. The next one is, how long does it take to implement an omnichannel loyalty program?
So typically it takes about 3 months to do the strategy and then the implementation of the software. Then we recommend launching a pilot program in certain stores if the client is an omnichannel business. So overall, it takes roughly 6 months to officially launch the finalized program.
Okay, great. I've got one more question here, and again, this would be a great time if you have something on your mind to get that out here, but how do you calculate ROI?
So this depends. It'll vary a little bit based on the solution in question. but you know, generally we'll have for any given time frame, we'll have the sum of the client's monthly payments, and we'll also have the revenue generated by the solution, which, for example, if we're talking about social login, it will be the total value of the orders that were made by clients who used the social login solution. And so, you know, then we can just do our subtraction and calculate our percentage based on that.
All right, and that appears to be the last question that I have here. So before I hand it back to you, I'll just, on my behalf, I'd like to thank everyone for their time today. We had a great overview of advocate loyalty programs. This is a topic that is becoming more and more important as we discuss with customers and look for new ways to generate incremental revenues and to engage customers in deeper and more meaningful relationships. It's having a tremendous impact on those clients that are starting to adopt, and those that are well underway are having some tremendous success. I think we do want to, we had a follow-up question before I close it off on the ROI question, looking for an example. And I guess that goes into the follow-up, which is to watch your inbox for watch your inbox for the recording of today's presentation and copy of the slides. We'll be getting that out within the next day or two. We will also have the direct follow-up to your questions, so we'll follow up on that example for the ROI. And anything else, you've got Eliza's and my email address and URLs here, and I'll turn it over to Eliza for any last words that she has.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and Steve for doing this with me. We really appreciate it, and we'll make sure to follow up with the specific question that you've asked us, Catherine, and we will send you your recording tomorrow. Thank you.